I love fashion technology. I think that's pretty obvious from the channel. But I can also honestly say that tech isn't always the answer. Sometimes you have to lean into your learned skills and understanding of construction, fit, and overall apparel craftsmanship. So the next time you're considering learning a new digital tool, ask yourself, what problem am I trying to solve? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikkel Drew Pelham. I talk about digital fashion design software, technology, and communication. If you're a little overwhelmed by the business and technology roles in fashion and trying to seek a balance between creativity and profitability, you're in the right place. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Designers often ask me, what class should I take? Or what's the best software to use? And my response is always, what do you want to do? Because there is no one size fits all. Certain software do some things well, others do some things better. Most designers will probably use more than one digital tool, or what many call a tool stack, to create, sample, and produce their garments. But it's important that you understand your needs and what these tools do in order to avoid choosing or using the wrong tools or having to pay for extra software that you may not even need. So let's talk about some of the more common digital fashion tools and why you might use each one. Raise your hand if Illustrator is not only the OG, but your MVP. There's so much that you can accomplish with Illustrator, and many designers swear by it. For most of us, the main reason to use Illustrator is for accurate, flat sketching. Many will also do their tech packs in Illustrator as well if they're not using Excel or a PLM platform. But Illustrator goes even beyond that. If you need to create textile designs, Illustrator has tools built in not only to easily create colorways, but also to do repeats. And at this point, there are AI features built into the program that also help you spin up some other interesting print ideas. Of course, you can do graphics in the program, and there are lots of designers who use Illustrator to create garment patterns. So if you're at the point where you've sketched your designs and are now ready to flat sketch them so you can create tech packs, or you might want to create some graphics, some all over prints, Illustrator is definitely the way to go. And if you're new to Illustrator, 383 Design Studio has an amazing online course that you can sign up for to learn how to use Illustrator for fashion design. Okay, you might be wondering why this is on the list. And you're right, Excel is not a fashion tool per se. However, if you're not going to use a PLM software for your tech packs, or maybe something specifically meant to create tech packs like Tech Packer, this is a great software to use. Can you do your tech packs in Illustrator? You absolutely can. And I've done it for years. However, the main reasons I've switched to Excel or Google Sheets are one, the BOM, and two, the spec sheet. Both of these are charts, and it's so much easier to create a chart in Excel than to manually copy and paste in Illustrator. Also, when it comes to the spec sheet, particularly the graded spec, you can add formulas into Excel to auto-calculate additional sizes, tolerances, differences. It just makes things a little simpler and more accurate. And once you're creating a tech pack, accuracy is your number one priority. If you're at the point in your design development where you're ready to start sampling your collection, if you're going to a manufacturer, they will most likely ask you for a tech pack. And in fact, unless you're dealing with a product developer, I would be very skeptical of any manufacturer who does not ask for a tech pack. If you need a template to use, you can download my free tech pack template that's linked in the description. And if you're completely new to tech packs and need to understand what they are and how to create one, make sure you check out my Creating a Fashion Tech Pack course, which I'll also link in the description. Now, I'm curious, how many of you are using Illustrator versus Excel for tech packs, and why? Let me know in the comments. This is always an interesting question, and I love sharing this information amongst our community because I always learn something new about what all of you are doing and how you're using these tools. Initially, most designers began using 3D to better visualize their designs, and that's still a great reason to use it. But as 3D has matured, we've realized that the value in 3D goes way past visuals. In order to create a 3D garment, you need a pattern. And the great thing about having the pattern is that you can literally print it out and sew it up into an actual garment. You can also test fabrics, see how different fabrics look and drape on a model, create a marker to better understand fabric yield, test graphic sizing and placement, test the fit. And most recently, Clo 3D, which is the software that I teach, added a knitwear component so you can also visualize sweater knits. 3D is, I think, such an amazing fashion design software for fashion entrepreneurs and small brands, particularly those who are doing most of the sales and production, meaning small batch production, cutting and sewing those garments themselves or with a small team. Not only are you able to create a true to fit garment that you can share with your customer to help expedite decision making, you can also use those 3D assets to cut and sew the actual garment, do virtual fittings to work out obvious fit issues before you even cut into any fabric, and use those assets for marketing. If you're interested and want step-by-step guidance in learning Clo 3D, we also have a beginner course in the 383 Digital Fashion Design School, which I'll leave a link to in the description. AI, meaning artificial intelligence, not to be confused with the OG Adobe Illustrator, is a relatively new tool. And of course, AI itself isn't just one tool, but encompasses lots of different types of tools. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that I'm a little skeptical of AI, but understand that there are some use cases where it can be very beneficial. As of this recording, I still believe that the most beneficial AI fashion function is sketch to image. It's a quick way to turn your own sketch into something that is photorealistic so that you can share with your client, your buyers, and you can get some quick feedback or make decisions quickly. I've spoken with more than one person that said once they introduced this feature into their workflow, the approval rating skyrocketed. And even though it doesn't have the same amount of data that a true 3D garment created in Clo or some other 3D fashion design software would, it's much faster and can move the process along so that you can get your yes and move on to creating a pattern in 3D. Now, there are lots of tools out there that you can choose from, and I've made several videos on this channel about them. But by far, my preferred tool would be Make the Dots Style Builder. Not only is their tool accurate, but it's linked to a canvas that will allow you to create your boards, line sheets, start your fabric sourcing, collaborate, all in the same place. And for those of you who are using PLM or merchandising tools, Make the Dot can integrate with those as well, which is huge for centralizing your information and avoiding double work. And just an FYI, Make the Dot recently updated their entire canvas. It's a new look and feel, and the tools are even more robust. Most of us creators focus just on the creative endeavors, and I get it. That's the fun part. But if you're going to have a business, you're going to need to make some sales to stay in business. A lot of sales, actually. And while marketing plays a role in this, your merchandising is the first thing you need to get right. Making sure you have the right product for the right customer at the right time, that's all part of making better sales, and it's all merchandising. So if you've got great product and you're ready to make more sales, good merchandising may be the thing you're missing. And 383 Design Studio's merchandising course is taught by a former merchant from Pencil to Production judge and entrepreneur, Alicia Appleton. Not only does she have the knowledge, but she does everything she talks about in her course each season when she's developing her accessories line. If you're just choosing the flavor of the month software or digital tool or whatever other people say you need, you may find yourself overwhelmed and stuck with subscriptions to tools you never even use. It's not unlikely that you'll need more than one tool, but you probably don't need 5. So first, think about what you're trying to achieve and what you believe you need that software for, and then choose your tool. At 383 Digital Fashion Design School, we have courses on some of the most common ones. So if you need to understand how it's used in fashion or how it can transform your design workflow, make sure you check out the links to any of the classes I mentioned previously in the description. Also, there are some classes that work well together, like Illustrator and the Tech Pack course, or Illustrator and Clo 3D. Or you might decide you want to sign up for all of them. And if that's the case, we also have course bundles. So not only do you get an even more powerful transformation in your workflow, but you also get it at a great price. Thanks for watching today's video. If you still have questions about which course might be best for you, feel free to leave those questions in the comments, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.